comments from Coach?
Thanks, Dave. Obviously, go through the film as always and learn, but a lot of good things. I like the pace we played with. The fact we got to the line, we need to get there more. When I was finished in the paint more, we got 44 points in the paint, I believe. And then I think obviously shoot the line better. But first half, 13 assists with 15 made baskets. I thought we shared the ball well. Second half, more of the same. A lot of good things. A lot of getting some younger guys some experience is always good. Let's see, obviously I've got a lot of different options to go to. So appreciate how hard they played and how they shared the ball, and now we head into the regular season. Questions?
Hey Greg, what stood out to you about the way Chucky played and kind of commanded the offense tonight? Seemed like facilitation was a key, 6 assists, no turnovers.
Yeah, I mean his numbers in practice have been through the roof in that way too. I mean I think he's 36 assists to 5 turnovers in live action in practice, so he's really dispersing it well, which has been one of the focuses of the off season, of having him facilitate more to add to what he can do scoring wise. But yeah, when you can play a game with no turnovers as much as he handles it. Starting backcourt, 10 assists, no turnovers, so that's a good sign. We'll obviously see bigger, faster, all that. We're gonna see different, another level, but it's a good start.
Greg, to kind of follow up
Yeah.
on that, I mean, he can score, he's comfortable taking a late shot, but do you think because of the depth and versatility, there will be less pressure on him to score and he can maybe relax a little bit more in that regard?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. Obviously, the plan's got to come to fruition, and I think maybe with a little more pace, can we not be in late clocks as much? More people that have the ability to score on the floor, more depth. I think all those things can hopefully take some of the pressure off of him. And there's still going to be late clock situations. There are going to be half, end of game situations or late possessions where as we go through the next few weeks, I'm sure that he'll be in. But it's good to see that he's got confidence in all the other people around him, that he's comfortable really distributing and finding people.
Got one in the back.
Coach Connor led the team with 10 shots today. Him coming off the bench, do you think it provides him a little more freedom maybe to find a shot and kind of lead that unit off the bench?
Yeah, I think it gives us a good weapon. I think the really good teams I've been on have had a scoring punch off the bench. So for him, I think it's a good time for him to come in and get in a rhythm, and we can play with different combinations with him, as I did tonight. So I think he's not bashful, that's for sure. But he's one of those guys that you let him shoot it. If he thinks he's proven it enough, shoot. His numbers in practice are really good too. He's in the 40s for the volume he takes from 3. To shoot it at that level in live action is good, and so yeah, if he likes it, he's got the green light to shoot it.
Tyler and Steven made a couple of aggressive outlet passes, especially on wings within transition. I mean, sometimes that's how the game falls, but every game against any opponent, is that always the first look that you want them to make after they pull in the rebound?
Yeah, it depends on if we have anybody streaking down the middle of the floor. I think we hit Steve a couple times maybe, or Nolan once, but Tyler also has the ability to bring it himself and initiate what we do coming out of transition, kind of in the secondary mode. So I think when you have a guy like that can play at the 4, that can handle the ball like he can, it allows us to run and spread the floor more with shooters, and some of the things we're doing in transition allows him to facilitate it and at least ignite it, or start it from the beginning. But I thought AJ, hit there was a Steve on that on a fly pattern. We're not always going to get the first rim runner open, so then you've got to, whether the 2 bigs are behind the play, then we go into some of the ball screen stuff we do in transition.
On the stage.
Coach, just to see somebody other than yourself is always nice for these exhibitions. What was it about UWSP that you thought gave you maybe a good look to set you up for the regular season next week?
Well, I think just the fact that they're preparing for a season and have an organization and a plan of what they're trying to do, you know, with some of the motion stuff that they're doing with the fade screens and the curls, I think test specifically our younger guys on their ability to follow rules, and when rules got broke, they took advantage of them a couple times. But I think, Ken will do a good job there. It's obviously a terrific league. But for us, it's a chance to play another, obviously an outside opponent, but it's good for the game of basketball in the state too. For one night, regardless of level, because there's many, there's only one Division II school in the state, but it shows how good basketball is regardless of level in this state, and how it's grown, over the past 25 to 35 years. The popularity of the sport, and the opportunities that young people have in the state has grown immensely.
Hey Greg, AJ shot the ball really well tonight. There were a couple moments where in transition or when the pace was kind of sped up, he looked really comfortable, kind of surveying everything around him, finding guys with outlet passes. Have you seen anything from him as a creator? Like, what can he bring to your team in that capacity this year?
Yeah, I mean, he has a pretty good feel with the ball in his hands. I think understanding when to probe in some of those half-court situations and when not to, when driving lines or lanes are plugged, dispersing it. But I think he can get downhill at his size and as strong as he is, as quick as he is. It puts pressure on the rim, but his ability to pass it is probably even a little better than I thought, just when we recruited him. He made one bad post feed tonight that I'm sure will make the highlights or the lowlights tomorrow, but in the second half. But it, I think he's continuing to learn. He's been awesome to coach. He listens, he asks the right questions, so he just wants to get better, and that's a good sign.
Greg, I think you mentioned the other day that Blackwell had been training up in recent days. I know he had 3 turnovers, but what he can do on both ends of the court, contribute in different ways. Is that what you were starting to see in practice from him?
Yeah, just more consistently. I had seen it in summer, a little bit in the fall, and then freshmen sometimes ride the roller coaster, most times. So I thought he had been more consistent. He's fearless, as you can see. He's not tentative at all for a freshman, and that's a good sign. So it means he's got a lot of areas he can help this team.
Howdy. AJ, terrific transfer sophomore, tremendous motor. How do you see his motor affecting the team's play? I mean, he had plays there where he blocks a jump shot, and then he's the first person on the other half of the court going for a dunk. Obviously that transition play doesn't happen, but how much of his motor is rubbing off on other players? And then how much do you see yourself having to get him to sometimes take his foot off the gas a little bit? He had a few plays there where he was so far ahead of the play that he made a mistake that maybe wouldn't have happened had he slowed down.
Yeah, I mean, the second part of your question is just learning, and understanding how important every possession is, because we're going to be in games where you're going to want those possessions back. I think in terms of his motor, I think that's a credit to his teammates, that their motor is rubbed off on him, because he's learned how to play hard all the time, and I think that's been not shocking to him, but it's been a change of how hard he has to play all the time, and he's done that. Like I said before, he's really accepted coaching and listened to his older teammates that have been here and understand what it takes to have success at this level and this play specifically. So, there's a lot he can get better at, specifically on the defensive end. I think he can be a terrific defender, but it's the attention to detail all the time, every possession, as the elite defenders have. So, but he can make plays. Obviously, he can make something out of nothing, and that's a good tool to have on your team.
Just do one more.
Coach, the team had 10 steals overall, seemed to operate with a lot of looks in the full court press. Just what do you see from your team in that work defensively moving forward?
Well, that's something that we've really started putting together through the spring and summer. What I felt we could do, not only with this team, but things I've seen in the evolution of the game, that can we find a way to get a couple of more easy baskets? Can we create some distress, for the offensive team? You have to be able to do it, you know, in the right amount in terms of, we are not gonna give up much easy, hopefully, in transition, but I think our guys are getting more accustomed to it. It's becoming a little more instinctual. It's been and we've done it selectively over the years, but we put a lot of time into it in the summer, really teaching it and working on it. And we got a long ways to go in it, but it's something I wanted to have as a tool for us to use. And I think it's situational. You know, situationally, it's you've seen it tonight. It wasn't on all the time, but I think it's something our guys like. They like the aggressive mindset. This team feeds off of that too. So we've had success with it in the past. Places that I've been, and I think if you do it and strategically implement it, it can hopefully help us.
Thank you, Coach.
All good? All right, thank you.